All right. Gary, how you doing, man?
Doing well, Seb. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm very happy that daylight savings time is, or what's the opposite of daylight savings time? I mean, when the days get longer, which one is that? Is that daylight savings time or not daylight savings time? I can never remember.
God, man, it's just too much. Every 6 months or something like that. I think they're supposed to get longer now, right?
That's right. But like, what do you call it when you move the clock backward or whatever it is? No, you spring forward, right? So we're springing forward.
There
So
you
I don't
go.
know if
Yeah,
daylight
yeah,
savings time, but for me, it's always one of my favorite days of the year, and that is this coming Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love the longer days. So I'm very happy about that. And also, it should stop raining here pretty soon. I'm very excited because we just cracked 102% of the average rainfall for the year, for the season or whatever. And the season is not over yet. So we're in surplus, which is a good place to be in.
I think we're. I'm not sure where we at here, but all of a sudden it started raining yesterday out of nowhere, and some of the streets were flooded. And our roof was leaking our office.
Really? Oh, no.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
own the building?
crazy.
You own the
Uh,
building?
no, no, no. We're
Oh,
just renting. Yeah.
oh, the landlord.
Yeah, I know, but it was crazy. Like it wasn't supposed to be on the forecast. The rain came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere. Came from over here because it was raining pretty good over here
Oh,
for
there you go.
a while.
Yeah,
Hours it rained pretty good.
yeah.
Uh,
You sent it over here.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But we're not here to talk about the weather or about the sunlight. We're here to talk real estate. So today's topic is does your brokerage matter?
Yeah,
So now again, we're always like looking at it from the perspective like a new agent. So really, does a brokerage matter, particularly for a new agent? So I know, Gary, you were a new agent one time. How long ago were you a new agent?
yeah. It seemed like a long time ago. Yeah, I guess we're all new agents at one time, right?
We all
Uh,
started somewhere, really.
yeah,
I used to be
yeah,
a new agent, and now I'm old and decrepit. But so because you've had your license for as long as I have, right? Like 20
yeah.
years, 21 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Same time. Yeah, I think it does matter for new agents. Absolutely, man.
Who,
You
who
got to.
was who was your brokerage? Like where'd you start out at?
Yeah. Should I say it? Should I say the
Yeah, go
name?
right ahead.
It was Century 21.
C21. Did you have a gold jacket? Did they give you a gold jacket?
No, I never made it that far.
Oh,
You have
that's an award. You have to work your
that.
way up to a gold
Yeah,
jacket.
that's an award. Yeah,
You start out with a gold vest or something like that, or a gold polo shirt.
I bought my own polo shirt. Yeah, they sell it to you.
Right. Okay. So what attracted you to C21 at the beginning, anyway?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was in a totally different business before, and I was looking for a change. And I went into one of their career nights, and they paint a so pretty picture. Like, man, I was like amazed, man. I got what I'm doing here, what I could do here. I knew nothing about sales. I didn't know it was a sales job. They made it sound like it was a salary job. When you knew you don't know nothing, right?
Right.
I was like, man, all I gotta do is take this test and I could be making all kinds of money and doing nothing the way they made it sound like, right?
Right. Easy money.
Easy
Easy.
money, yeah. And they had a couple of people that were already producing and they brought them over, hey, this guy is making so much money here. Look, he's still writing contracts at 6 o'clock at night, and
Right.
whatever, it's like they made it sound so good. So that's how I got started.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
and how long were you at C21 before you moved on to wherever you moved on to?
Oh, I was there about a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So why was it that after a year you moved on?
Well, I don't think I was getting the training, the support that I needed. At some point, you feel that way. I mean, I was kind of part time to begin with, so that has something to do with it. But I think the training wasn't there, what I needed. There
Yeah.
was some training, right? For new agents, how to write a contract and how to read the inspection report. I don't know, but at that time I needed more sales, right? I needed more sales training, but that wasn't there.
Right. Well, that's very interesting. So, like when I started out, I started out at a independent brokerage that had one office, but had been around a long time. They'd been around for 40 years, or well, maybe not 40 years at that point, but maybe 40 years at that point, at least 30, 35, I would say. And it was all like mostly seasoned agents were in there, actually. A lot. I mean, there were actually a good number of people who were pretty productive. Like instead of like a normal brokerage, you have 100 brokers, there's like 5 people who crank it, right? So this brokerage had like maybe, I don't know, 40 people in it. And of those 40, probably like 10 were actually probably pretty good producers, really, which is, above average for the real estate industry. I came to learn. Remember when I started when I started there, I went up and I talked to after I got my license, I was already working there. I went to the broker, the guy who ran the place, and I said, "Hey, Steve, do you think I'll be able to sell like a house a month?" And he goes, "A house a month? That would be amazing." I'm going like, "Really? Well, what's not amazing?" Anyway, the training consisted of me going in there after I got my license, and they said, "Okay, well, this is the coffee pot right here. Here's how you get coffee, and here's the copy machine, and here's the printer, and here's the computer, and here are these plot map books, right, full of all the parcel maps in the county, right? Like a very basic introduction." And they're like, "This is the up room," which no one knows is an up room anymore, I don't think, but there used to be a room where you would sit at the front of the office, and when walk-in traffic came in, and they needed to talk to a realtor, they would talk to whoever was doing floor time or up time at the time, and you'd get the phone calls, which nobody calls anymore, I don't think, really, real estate brokerages, so much. It can happen, I guess, but very rare, I guess. And that was it. That was my training. I had literally no training, none beyond that. And, I was recommended to the brokerage, and it was a very nice brokerage, and I mean, the great people and all that, but really not a place for a first-time agent. And they didn't tell me how to write a contract. Honestly, they didn't tell me any of that stuff, really. I was really on my own. I mean, they were around if I had questions, but I was given no direction. So if you're in a brokerage like that, I would say definitely, and that probably describes a lot of brokerages, really. If you're in a brokerage like that, you're a brand new agent, I think your brokerage probably really does matter, and you're at the wrong brokerage. But where did you go to after a year? A year later, you figure out, Gary, that that's not for you to be. That's not your spot. Where did you go after that? And why did you why did you choose your second spot?
Well, like I said, it wasn't not really working out as far as my sales. So I didn't go to a good place either. I got tricked into going to another place.
What was the other place? Can you say, or you'd rather not say?
It was like a small brokerage. They were like a real estate. Yeah, real estate loans, all that stuff, right? And then they promised me leads.
So you were next door to a pawn shop. There was like a pawn shop and liquor store on either side of you, or?
Well, not really, but I mean, they promised that they had so many leads that they would give me leads. That's what I needed at that time.
Right. They promised you leads.
Yeah.
Did they give you any leads at all?
No, that's the thing. I'm like there, and there's no leads at all.
Zero.
So that was like my second year, I think.
So what year was this? So like I started in 2003. You started in 2003. What year did you start?
Yeah, I think it was about 2005.
2005. This is right. This is actually was the market was going gangbusters in 2005.
That's what I'm saying. So it just worked out. Somehow I just started. I don't know how it happened. It just started happening for me. But they didn't get
at that second brokerage.
The second brokerage. Yeah, I met some people. I start networking more. Just kind of by myself, but no one taught me anything.
Right.
That brokerage. I mean, I stayed there for a little bit, but it wasn't what I thought. There was no training either,
No training at all.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
zero.
So did they have like office meetings? So they have like weekly office meetings?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Did they give you anything at all in a weekly office meeting? I mean, was there any value there at all, or?
No, nothing. Yeah. There was office meetings about just you have to share your number, how many sales you got, stuff like that.
Right.
It was a really small brokerage, wasn't most of their business was loan business.
Right.
So
Okay. All
so I
right.
did learn the loan business there. That helped me.
All right. Okay. Well, that's good. So, how long were you there for? Are you there for just a couple more years, or
Probably, yeah, a couple of years, yeah.
and then where did you go? What was number three?
Well, that was my own brokerage then.
Oh,
I
you started your own brokerage
Yeah,
after
my
that.
short. Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were at weren't you at like a Remax at some point,
yeah.
or?
Well, that was later on, but this time I end up starting my mortgage brokerage.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. So you were the mortgage brokerage, and then maybe the whole mortgage brokerage fell apart in like 2008
at
when the
some
whole
point,
world.
yeah, 2008. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
A lot of mortgage brokers got out of the business in 2008, became realtors. Really, a lot
that's
of
what happened. That's
no
what
mortgage
happened.
business, really. I mean,
That's what happened. Yeah, so I really didn't have anywhere to go, and I somehow stumbled upon REO accounts at that time.
right.
So that
REO
was
bank
yeah,
owned REO foreclosure.
yeah. So that
Love
lasted
going
for a
foreclosure.
while. Yeah, those lasted for a while.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then after that dried out, then I had to go back and learn how to sell.
Right. You
You
had to
know?
go back and learn how to sell. Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So, but you were at Remax for a while, and so is that when you were going back to learn how to sell?
Yep.
Or was
Yep.
that
Yep. Yeah.
so?
I thought that's where I was going to learn, but there was no training either there.
There was
So
no training either there
yeah,
at Remax.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, I think one thing that maybe a lot of people don't realize, especially newer agents, is that there is no one Remax. There's like Remax is a franchise, right? And so
yeah,
like there's different owners. Like it could be one guy owns 10 Remax offices, or it could be one guy owns one Remax office. You can buy them for like $93,000. You can buy like a Remax office. They sent
yeah.
me an email the other day saying join Remax for 93 grand. I'm going like, I don't know about that. But yeah, so like if you're a new agent and you think, oh, I want to join Remax, right? It's like, but yeah, Remax is just like a brand. It's like I'm going to wear Nike shoes, right? That doesn't make you like Stephen Curry or whatever because you're wearing Nike
No,
shoes, right? It just means that it's
no.
a brand that you put on when you go out there.
I guess it depends on the individual broker owner, right? Franchise owner, how they run their company.
Right.
There's no standard. There's no like certain trainings or I mean, there's a lot of trainings offered, but it's not. I mean, I don't think it was what I needed because I was pretty much starting over, right?
Starting over. Yeah, I felt like I was starting over after the.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, because when the foreclosure thing came along, right? That was in 2007. Was when I got my first REO listing. I'd only been a broker for 4 years at that point, really. So I
yeah,
wasn't like if you're just starting out in real estate, 4 years might seem like a long time. It's actually not a very long time in the real estate business.
true.
But
Yeah,
it's a time by which 75% of people will already be out of business. So if you made it 4 years, you're already doing better than average, but you're still a new agent. I remember when I first started, one of the guys who was at my brokerage, he goes like, you really have to close 100 deals before you ever really know what's going on. I'm going like 100 deals, right? At the time, I closed like 6 or something like that. I'm going 100 deals before I know what's going on, and like, you know what? I close hundreds of deals now, and I know what's going on, but you know what? There's still stuff that all the time that be like, I never heard of that. Like no one's ever heard of it. So
yeah. Every transaction, something new. It's
it
always
seems like
it's
it.
never the same, right?
Right. Right. But when it comes to the brokerage, where like a new agent should start out at, one thing that I've always said, or not always, but ever since I became aware of it, which would be like maybe 15 years ago, is like Keller Williams. I mean, Keller Williams does have a lot of training. Do you have any experience with Keller Williams?
Yeah, I do. I do. Our local Keller Williams office here, I think, is pretty good. They do have the training. I don't think the Keller Williams they have some kind of standard training, but once again, it's on the local broker how they run their company. Whether they attract more experienced agents or new agents. You have to have training for new agents. But I think a local Keller Williams office is, I would say, pretty good training for new agents.
Yeah, so like years ago, they would always invite me over to their training classes. They had like a big training room. It wasn't a big training room. It's a good sized training room, though, I would say. I mean, they're paying a lot of rent. It was probably like 500 square foot room, something like that. Like that's expensive. I mean, that might cost, like $3,000 or $4,000 a month just for the rent in that part of the building, really. So they're putting some money into it, and they would always invite me down because they want to seduce me and like have me join KW and see how great it was. But I was always amazed that, wow, these are like real actual serious classes taught by people who actually know what they're doing. And they actually tell you reasonable things you need to know how to do in order to actually get business, which was way different than anything else that I had experienced. And then also KW has this thing like BOLD, right? You know what BOLD stands for, Gary? Tell me if you know what BOLD stands for.
I don't know what it stands for. I know they have some kind of training.
BOLD is business objectives, life by design. Oh my goodness, BOLD, and that's their. They have a program. There's like 10 BOLD classes or whatever, and you go there, and is it one a month or once every 2 weeks or so? I don't really know what it is, but it's a thing, and it's like a low cost, like entry level coaching program. That's pretty good, really, you know. And like, I mean, as I get older and older and longer into my real estate career, I really do realize that actually it's not all bullshit. All the coaching stuff that they try to teach you, like when you first get into real estate, or they never tried to teach me this when I first got into real estate, but stuff that I started hearing about as I sought it out, you know, this kind of stuff. Actually, it's not actually bullshit. It actually is kind of, not really kind of, it's actually really valuable. And so KW has that BOLD thing, and it's like the first class is free, and then you got to pay, I don't know, $1,000 for all the classes or something like that. And they have this MAPS coaching. I think BOLD is part of MAPS. I don't know what MAPS stands for, but it's something, and it's their in-house coaching program that they have. But even if you don't ever take any of the coaching at KW, at least they do have actual real classes that are available to you. And I, you know, like I'm not really aware of, I'm sure other brokerages have that as well. Like EXP is a cloud brokerage. EXP is like a clone of KW. It was started by, I guess, 2 KW guys, right? And they have cloud-based classes, you know. Are you aware of any other brokerages that have any kind of like cloud-based classes for their agents?
Wow, I think there's a lot of cloud brokerage are coming out. Real Broker, I think they have something going. Some
Well,
kind
there's
of
also
online.
like a Epique, EPIQUE.
Epic, yeah, Epic Realty, yeah.
Then there's like LTP or LPT or something like
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think there's probably more out there by
that. So
now.
other cloud brokerage that are coming out to compete with
Yeah,
EXP, right? You know, they're coming
yeah,
out EXP's lunch, right? And they say they offer similar things like that, right? So,
yeah. But
well, so
I don't know if any of these are a good option for new agents, you know.
I'm just going to ask you that. You read my mind. Like,
Yeah,
is a cloud brokerage a good idea for? Because like everyone wants a cloud brokerage because low splits, right? Let's be honest, right? People
yeah,
don't care about any of their crap. They only want to know how much of my commission do I get to keep, right? So, is there any value in going with a brick and mortar brokerage that has like that, you know, big training space where you can actually hobnob with regular agents, versus and you pay a bigger split versus whatever these Epic or LPT or whatever they are, cloud EXP cloud brokerages? What's your thoughts?
yeah. I think if you can find a local brokerage that has some kind of training, you know, not some kind of training, you know, you need training, sales training, right? How to find customers, because you know you could learn how to type a contract, right? But
Right, right. Well, very
you know,
soon,
yeah,
contracts are going to take themselves to
yeah.
from AI. It won't be very
I
long.
mean, it pretty much is ready to go right now. You know, just fill in the blanks,
Almost there.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not
So
hard to type a
you
contract
don't
up.
need to be attorney to write a contract. So I think the getting sales, getting customers is a rocket science. You have to learn, right? So
Well,
if
totally. And it's not even a science. It really is an art. Really is an art form, essentially, because there's no science to it because you're dealing with people, right? And
yeah,
people are really screwed up and hard to work with, you know. So I agree, you know, like I always think that, you know, like EXP and these cloud brokerages, you know, these are really good options for people like me, maybe who have been around a long time. I don't really need a ton of support, you know, and I want to, you know, maximize my income. But that's the other thing I was going to ask you about is like, do you think that that having like an in-person brokerage, you know, regardless of any training that they might have, do you think that in-person versus cloud is going to give you maybe that more momentum in your business because you do have like a focal point in the community and you're hanging out with real people, or do you think that that doesn't really matter and that the cloud brokerage, regardless of any training, is going to be fine?
Yeah, no, I think in-person training does matter for new agents. I mean, once you get past that level, yeah, you can
Well,
learn
not
online.
even by the training though, but just like hobnobbing with people in reality, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, man. You got to network. This business is all about networking with people and meeting with people. So if you just gonna sit home, I don't think you're gonna be very successful in this business. You got to learn how to get out. I mean, if you have that kind of a setup at your office, then I think I prefer that as a new agent.
Yeah, I prefer that as a new agent too. But one thing that I'm really aware of is that when I started, and for my first year or two in the business, I did go to the office quite a bit, and I worked out of the office. I didn't have a home office, so I was in my office working. I mean, it was working, but I wasn't really, doing what I should have been doing, right? Because no one told me what I should really be doing, So I was doing stuff that was better than nothing, but it didn't. I think that I could have gotten a much better direction early on in my career. But what I found is that a lot of people who were in the office, they were talking about stuff that had nothing to do with real estate, really. Like there was a lot of like chit chat that was really, like, oh, what are you doing after, lunch or whatever, like, oh, I'm gonna go surfing. I'm gonna go, oh yeah, I got a volleyball. I'm taking my dog for a walk, right? Like, did you see the new coffee shop down on whatever, So, how can you identify an office that's going to have like really good culture, do you think, where you're going to find agents who aren't just a bunch of like dead weight, right? Because you don't want to be dead weight. You don't want to be one of these people who just shows up for the glam so you can have her business card, you can tell your friends that, oh yeah, I'm a realtor. Like, how can you pick a brokerage that's actually going to put the right kind of culture around you? Is there any way that you know how to do that?
Well, that's a tough one. I think you can try talking to some of the people who are there, right? Some of the people may have left that company or they're still there. You can try talking to them and, interview more than one broker, right? See what they
Interview
offer.
more than one broker. That's an interesting idea. So you would suggest that you would actually just go around to, I don't know, I mean, there's many brokerages around, right? I mean, it must be like, I don't know how many, like in a downtown block, how many are there going to be? A lot,
Oh
right?
yeah, there's a lot everywhere, man. I mean,
So,
even a small town, there's a bunch of brokerages. So
right. Yeah. Even in a small town. And actually, there's like a stoplight and there's like two real estate brokerages and a gas station and a liquor store. That's like most
yeah.
towns in America, right? So you go in there, and what do you think that you should be looking for if you're trying to pick it? Like, you just talk to the broker, you talk to the people. How do you pick that brokerage?
Well, I mean, like I say, it's gonna be tough. I mean, they could just lie to you what they offer, right? So, but I mean, for me, if I'm new agent starting out, if I knew I'm looking for sales training, I want to learn how to find customers, right?
Right,
Because writing up a contract is not going to do me any good. I mean, I can learn how to do that on my own.
right,
Uh, but finding customers, that's a tough one. I mean, a lot of realtors they just don't know how to do it. They just don't know the sales side. I think that should be number one priority for every brokerage.
right. Well, I can share a little bit about how I came to work at my current brokerage, Compass. So I'm working at the Compass, and one reason why I shut down my own brokerage of one, I had one person, that was me. I shut it down because I, I I felt that I could do a better job supporting my clients working with a larger brokerage, for one, right? I mean, I started my own brokerage for a few reasons, but one of the key reasons was I wanted all my commissions, right? I wanted all that money. So I came to realize that I'd be better off working with somebody like Compass. But I wanted to work with Compass because they have a pretty good share of like really high performing agents, right? Like birds of a feather flock together, right? Like I wanted to be around an environment where there are a lot of heavy hitters, where there are a lot of high producing agents. I didn't want to be in an office full of dead weight, and that's one thing that really attracted me to Compass. And for me, it does matter the fact that I'm with a brokerage like that, because, like you are, who you hang out with, essentially, right? Like, what's that thing? Like, you're the sum of the five people you hang around with most, right? Something like that, right? So I wanted to do that. And I think if you're a new agent and you're looking to find a brokerage, I would suggest start looking at like the listings, right? Like, see the listings that office has or that brokerage has. See like who of those agents are really, like listing the thing, and just see like, is this an office where there's only like one or two or three actual producing agents, or is it an office where there's actually a good mix? Maybe there's 10 to 20 agents who are really actually fairly productive, right? And can you meet those agents? Are they going to be around? Because those agents who are fairly productive, they're going to need help. They would love to have a brand new enthusiastic agent to come and do open houses for them, right? I mean, like to do all kinds of stuff that they do property showings for them, not being on a team necessarily, but because there's a lot of really productive solo agents who don't have a team, right? But they wouldn't mind having some help with open houses and, showing buyers and stuff like that, just, so that's my thought. Is if you're looking for a good brokerage, find one where agents are actually like, there's not just one or two or three like heavy hitters, but there's like, well, maybe there are one, two or three heavy hitters, but then there's a good selection of producing agents, because you want to be in a culture of agents who are really into selling real estate.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like hanging around and getting coffee.
No, I agree with you. There is a lot of offices that people just go there just to have coffee, just like you said, So you want to be careful. Don't waste your time there. But it's hard to find an office that offers everything, right? So I wouldn't, if I'm new agent, I won't rush. I will interview, you know, at least five, not more, right?
Yeah.
To see, to, you know, just to test drive, maybe go to their meetings or whatever if they allow you to see what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If you can talk to their agents, like it's not easy as a new agent to get started, and you might end up picking the wrong after interviewing five broker. You might end up picking the wrong one. You just
Right.
don't know.
Right.
But sometimes you get stuck. But I mean, I would say if you're not getting the help you needed, you need to move on.
Right. Yeah. If you're not getting the help you need, then you need to move on. That's right. And the other thing I was going to say is that don't, like, you're split as a new agent or a newer agent, really. Like, unless you're producing a lot, really, your split is not something you should be concerned with, really, because 100% of zero is still zero, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, don't even worry about splits when you're new. Yeah. Like I said, 100% of zero is still zero, like you said. So I think I started at 50%.
I started at 65%. That was my split originally, and I don't know. I mean, that sounded good to me, really, but I didn't really know. I mean, well, splits is something we can talk about maybe in a different episode, but I don't really think splits matter that much, honestly. I mean, yeah, they matter. Like, if you're not getting the value for your split, then obviously then you're out of there, right? But just because, like, I think that it could be that if you're paying a split and it seems like it's a high split, it could be because your office has stuff that you're not taking advantage of, for one, and it could also be that maybe you should be renegotiating your split. I mean, like, that's certainly a possibility too, because they're not going to want to lose you if you're a producing agent. I mean, because the same thing with them, whatever, 10% of whatever is better than 0% of whatever, right? If they lose you, right?
Yeah, I mean, most brokers will pay you what you're worth. They don't want to lose you. So I mean, it's always negotiable. So I mean, some broker may offer more than the other. So you want to kind of take that into consideration, what you're getting.
Right.
I mean, as a cloud broker, you're not getting a whole lot, so they offer you more, right? More
Right.
split. you know, a local broker is paying rent, you know, all the expenses, so they're gonna offer you a little bit less, right?
Right.
They
Right.
have
Yeah.
they have to pay for all that. You got to understand, broker there to make money too. You know.
Right, right. And actually, their margins are very, very thin, which is why I never really. I had my brokerage. I was going to hire agents, but I realized that like I'm not going to make that much money off my agents because it's so competitive, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm not going to make that much, and then
Yeah.
all your problems are my problems, and if you get sued, I'm getting sued, really. So
Yeah.
that's one reason why I got out of that. But Gary, we are out of time today. Thank you so much. I really feel like this is going to be helpful to some people who are newer and wondering what brokerage they should join.
No, absolutely, absolutely. That, like I said, just look around, interview, and talk to some of the agents, see what's going on before you join a brokerage. That's it. Do
All
your
right.
homework. Do your homework.
Simply put. All right, Gary, that's it. Thank you so much, man. We'll catch you next time.
You got it.
All right.
Bye.